Let's take TRAVEO out for a spin. Maybe around the Tuscan countryside with the wind in our hair and some Italian pop music playing on the radio. I know, TRAVEO does sound like a very nice sports car. Well, maybe we can't drive a TRAVEO, but we certainly can design automotive systems with it. That's right, my friends. We're talking about Infineon's new TRAVEO T2G microcontrollers today and how you can create some super cool automotive designs with them, along with the Qt HMI software, too. Hi, I'm Amelia Dalton, host of Chalk Talk. In this episode of Chalk Talk, Marcelo Williams Silva from Infineon and I explore the megatrends driving innovation in microcontrollers for automotive applications, and the benefits that the TRAVEO T2G body and cluster portfolio brings to these types of designs. We also investigate the true firmware over the air update capabilities included in this family of MCUs, and how the Qt for MCUs on TRAVEO T2G can help you create next generation HMIs without compromising performance. And before we get started, don't forget to click that link. There you can find even more information about this topic from Infineon. Hi, Marcelo. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Amelia.
Okay, so Marcelo, we're talking about some new Infineon TRAVEO microcontrollers today. But before we dig into the details, Infineon is offering a new discount for these microcontrollers for a limited time, right?
Yeah, you're correct. We have some flagship evaluation boards that today can give you easy access and easy to develop connectivity as well, call it light kits. And yes, we're offering these kits with a limited discount value till September now through Mouser. So you have a link on the description that you can click and you can get your discount purchasing this kit through Mouser.
Fantastic. Now, Marcelo, Infineon is leading the semiconductor market in several different segments, right?
Yeah, when we started a few years ago, people can go backwards and check our webinars. Infineon is climbing the number one position in microcontrollers for several months. I would say years since I joined Infineon, and we have the acquisition from Cypress. We have some new products launched targeting ACUD, cluster, touch. And since last year, Infineon is the number one microcontroller supplier. We are increasing our market share. On the previous report was about 28%. Now we have about 32% of the market share for automotive and mobility solutions, followed also with the power semiconductors that we have 1/3 of the market as well. So Infineon, it's investing a lot to keep the number one position, and that's what we'll be discussing here today as well.
Fantastic. Now, let's talk specifically about automotive semiconductors. What kind of mega trends are you seeing in the automotive space?
Yeah, there are basically two mega trends leading the path with two sub mega trends that we'll be discussing later here. One of the mega trends is software defined vehicle. So it's a feature that most of the OEMs are offering today and are envisioning to have on EV, hybrids, all new platforms. And the second one is somehow connected is the vehicle electrification with the BEVs, the pure electrics, the hybrids. Infineon has solutions for the inverters, for battery management systems, for all kinds of gateways and controllers. So those two mega trends are fully aligned with our roadmap of products, and that's what we'll be discussing here today.
Fantastic. Now, safety and security are also important trends to keep in mind here as well, right?
Yeah, you hear a lot nowadays about risk of cybersecurity, attacks, or websites, or even machines and out cars out because of cyber attack. So one thing that is now embedded in all microcontrollers from Infineon is the cybersecurity. We are increasing the cybersecurity protection in all new microcontrollers as well. And a second topic that is very interesting to support and Infineon it's fully aligned is the embedded AI portion. So we have libraries for safe embedded AI. We acquired Imagimob, which is a company that is targeting embedded AI software. The main message here is that we are embedding these two key requests from the markets in our microcontroller portfolio as well. One thing that we should highlight here is that Infineon is increasing the portfolio of microcontrollers. So if you go to our website, you can go and take a look on the portfolio itself, how it's increasing. So we do have multiple options of PSOC, auto PSOC with the high voltage capabilities are increasing, TRAVEO and all the RX, including the RX TC4, which is a new launch to the market this year, supporting all the ACUDs. Going further on the discussion, you can see that Infineon today is not just the number one because of the quality or availability for the micros. It's not just that, it's because as well we do have extend portfolio that goes from the small devices, Cortex M0 Plus, to the TRAVEOs M4 and M7, to the RX, and also new generations of RISC-V devices that are coming very soon.
All right. So, Marcelo, let's talk about the TRAVEO T2G body electronics a little bit and how these features support the megatrends you talked about earlier.
Yeah, the TRAVEO portfolio, it's been solidified on the past years within Infineon after the Cypress acquisition. And we are extending those families and applications as well, not just on the TRAVEO body, which is a more generic microcontroller, but also on the TRAVEO graphics we'll be discussing later here. So these devices, they support all the cybersecurity protection, they support firmware over the air, they are AUTOSAR compliant, they have gigabit internet with CAN-FD, and ultra low power consumption. So those devices can cover multiple applications with less complexity to the highest complexity because they have up to 4 cores running in parallel on the Cortex M7 devices.
So, Marcelo, what kind of options do we have within the TRAVEO family of MCUs?
If you check one of our webcasts from last year, Amelia, you see that our portfolio were limited to the bottom part here, where we have Cortex M4 going all the way to Cortex M7. Now we are releasing new products where we have more performance, more connectivity with the same size of flashing to support more software-defined vehicles applications. So the key points our customers and partners can take from this slide is even though Infineon is open another door on RISC-V applications, we are still investing a lot on our ARM portfolio, and you can see it here.
Absolutely. Now, Marcelo, let's get into the details of that CYT4BF series.
This device is our superset device, so you can see that they can be very complete offering in terms of core block and peripherals. But there are some things that we want to highlight it here, which is the 2.7 volts to 5.5 volts, even on the Cortex M7, dual core M7, and quad core M7. So you don't have the restriction of our competitors to be 3.3 volts. You have firmware over the air capabilities in all our devices, so a true firmware over the air capability. You have the crypto coprocessor for the hardware security model or HSM as a Cortex M0, but if you're not using this feature, you can use as a coprocessor for your application as well. So the TRAVEO is not another microcontroller in the block, is literally taking our customers' application to the next level.
So, Marcelo, you mentioned true firmware over the air update capabilities. So, can we talk about that a little bit?
Sure. The true firmware over the air updates, it's especially when you have no interruption of service, so the user is not recognizing that you're doing a software update. You have rollback in case of failures. So if you detect a bug in the future, you can roll back to the previous firmware and you run everything in the background. So many people come to me and say like, oh, Marcelo, but firmware over the air, I have it in my vehicle. I have to wait the vehicle till they update for 20 minutes. This is not true firmware over the air updates. The true one, you don't recognize it, and you need a device capable to do it by hardware with a dual bank memory support and read wire writing memory. So the TRAVEO devices offer this in all family, so you don't have to waste your time developing code for firmware over the air applications.
So, Marcelo, what do you think are the biggest benefits of this new TRAVEO family? And what sets it apart from the rest of the pack?
Yeah, the portfolio from TRAVEO is growing. We are offering more new devices with more performance inside the Cortex M4 and M7 capabilities. With that, we offer a low power consumption as well, is one of the lowest in the market. The wide voltage inputs, firmware over the air, pin compatibility, and the possibility of use the HSM as a second core. So this today is bringing TRAVEO as one of our flagship microcontrollers in the market together with Aurix, and is pushing our customers' application to the next level.
Okay, so let's also talk about the TRAVEO T2G cluster family as well. A better user experience is at the heart of this solution, right?
Yeah. What is interesting about this solution, Amelia, is the following. You have the TRAVEO body as a microcontroller with a lot of capabilities, but the customer sometimes say like, oh, I need something more, which means user interface. User interface today in multiple applications, it's a display. Okay, so yeah, we do offer the solution about the touch screen with the PSOC devices, but we want to offer also a solution with the display interface. So that's how the TRAVEO T2G cluster or .c comes into play. So you have multiple examples about not just automotive, but also beyond automotive with two-wheelers, medical, and commercial agricultural vehicles. But those devices, basically, they are the TRAVEO body high plus graphical capabilities.
All right, so can you walk me through the portfolio of these MCUs a bit?
Sure. The portfolio of TRAVEO cluster devices can go from a simple Cortex M4, which is a cluster MCU for smaller displays, where you have the display connection directly to the micro, to the ones that I would say these two middle columns, the CYT3DL and CYT4DN, our best sellers today. Why? They offer a good processing power, plus they offer GFX library for 2.5D. They are able to run the display operations without our operational system. They run in bare metal. So those are the families available today. And as you can see on the right side, we'll be launching the new device with external low power DDR4. And those devices you can use on a larger screen, and it will have a better performance based on the external memory that you can add to the application.
So, what kind of features are we looking at with this cluster?
Yeah, the TRAVEO T2G cluster is a TRAVEO body device with the graphic capabilities. So here you can see that one of the main things that we have is the 2D and 2.5D rendering. So you have immersion on the application, is not just that boring display capability. You have the compliance for the ISO 26262. You have RGB and MIPI resolution, JPEG decoder. So you have, in a nutshell, all the capabilities of SoC, a system on a chip, but with the advantage that you run this in a microcontroller. So bare metal device, you don't have an operational system, which brings you on safe on the bill of material costs.
Okay, so Infineon also has a new solution here, the Qt for MCUs Infineon TRAVEO T2G, right? So talk to me about this.
Yeah, this is the ice of the cake here on our conversation for sure, because I've been promoting microcontrollers and working with microcontrollers for more than 2 decades. And one thing that the customers always come to us and say, Marcelo, microcontrollers are beautiful in a PowerPoint or in a PDF, but when you start working with, you have to deal with multiple licensing and compilers and complicated tools. So how we can make this more ease of use or user friendly? So what we did here, Infineon closed a partnership with Qt, which is a very well-known user interface HMI vendor. And then Qt is offering the solution is stacked with the Infineon TRAVEO cluster device to make the user experience more friendly. So today you can buy the kit, the light kit, you can download the version from Qt from the cloud, and you can have your system up and running in about 15 minutes, which 2 decades ago will take you 15 months.
Wow. Okay. So, Marcelo, how does the performance of TRAVEO stack up against other competitors?
Yeah, because we are running on the bare metal device, you don't have all the latency of the operational system, and you don't have all the aggregated cost of the system on a chip device that needs an operational system running. So what is very interesting is that you can expand more the frame rate performance of this device because you don't have all the latency of the operational system. Plus, you can save on memory footprint in RAM memory and in flash memory as well, because you're avoiding the operational system and the larger device. This brings us on a very cost-effective solution with a very nice display effect.
Okay. So, can you walk us through some examples of this TRAVEO T2G cluster in action?
Sure. One of the biggest example today is when you are using the TRAVEO T2G cluster as a safety companionship or a safety island for the system on a chip. Today, when you enter your vehicle and you have a display application, if the vehicle was just using the system on a chip, remember when you're turning on your computer, it takes some time to show up the logo and the display because it's initializing. But when you enter your vehicle, you turn the key on and you see the OEM logo popping up in your screen. And you say like, oh, why in my vehicle is so quick comparing to my computer? The reason is that the vendors today, they use a device like TRAVEO cluster as a companionship for the system on a chip. And because they don't have the operational system, they can be up right away. So what do you see when you're seeing the logo turning or something on your display right away is an overlay of those devices to make sure that you say like, okay, the vehicle is alive and in the background, the system on a chip is booting. So as soon as the system on a chip boot up, they take over this overlay from the TRAVEO and they start running it. What is the other advantage of this usage? Let's say that your vehicle is broken, something happened. Usually, if you don't have enough power to the system on the chip, you'd not be able to see any kind of sign on the display. The display will be completely dead. So you'll not be able to see any kind of how you solve the problem or what type of issues you are having in your vehicle. You can say, oh, Marcelo, that's not an issue because if I have a vehicle, I will call the toll will take the vehicle and the dealer will take care of, right? But how about a motorcycle or a two-wheeler device? You're in the middle of the street. You have to know what is going on. Is it lack of fuel? Is it a problem with the spark plug or something with the ECU? So that's how the companionship works. The companionship is able to show on the screen in the overlay section what type of problems that you are having in order to offer the user some kind of diagnose. So you can see if, okay, if I see overlay of engine light blinking, I have an issue with the engine. If I see key missing, so I can still have some kind of interface with the user, even though if I don't have enough power to the SoC to boot up. That's, I'll say, it's one of the major features that you can use on a setup of a TRAVEO using as a companionship for an system on a chip running an operational system.
So, Marcelo, this solution would also decrease our overall BOM as well, right?
That's for sure. You not just decrease the BOM, but you also decrease in the space, Amelia. But you're right. The BOM will decrease because you don't need a larger heat sink. You can do it without a heat sink. Your PCB layers will be down 2 to 3 layers less, which will cost you less as well. Your PMIC is not a big PMIC. You can use a smaller PMIC, and you don't need the boot DDR run or external flash and all this stuff that it's mandatory to use in a larger SoC. So in a nutshell, you can use a smaller system on a chip for the operational system and the TRAVEO cluster on the side as a companion chip. For sure, you can use the TRAVEO cluster as a standalone solution, but in this case, you are using as a companion chip. And even with this combination, the cost is lower and the performance is higher.
Fantastic. So, what is all included in the bundle with TRAVEO and Qt? And what assets are required and which assets are optional?
Yeah, when the customers approached Infineon, one of the key points for them was Infineon it was offering the silicon, but then Qt was offering the HMI, and then there was the compiler guide, and there was a multiple, I'll say, sources of information and softwares to be installed that sometimes they have 3 months of a free license for evaluation, sometimes 6 months, sometimes no months, and it was adding a lot of complexity for the development. So what we did is we closed this partnership with Qt, and then we'll be offering, as soon as you decide to use the device with the chip mark for this customer application, you can download this package from Qt directly, and then on this package you have all the designing tools, prototyping tools, and development tools all combined together, which save you more than 50% of the time because you don't have to download multiple things and connect it. Is one-stop shop package. And we have customers already using this solution that had reported to us that is very user-friendly and it saves a lot of time. So what we can see as well is that on the left side, you have the Qt device creation and the TRAVEO T2G Qt bundle. So you can see that we are putting what is in the left box on green on the stack together with the T2G graphic drivers, the JPEG driver, the sample driver library, and all those software in a bundle that the customer can go download and can start using right away. So in a nutshell, what we are saving you here is that you don't have to pay Qt for the development licenses or the development environment. What you have a package that already contains all the software tools. Everything that is required on the left side here, it's already included. So this will accelerate you in order to get your solution ready to go in a few minutes.
So, Marcelo, what part numbers should we keep in mind for the TRAVEO plus Qt for MCUs?
Most important here is to observe this S on red. So if you are buying the device with the S, the device already contains the Qt runtime license. One of the things, Amelia, that in the past people complain a lot, so say a decade ago, was like, oh, Marcelo, I have to buy the graphic drivers, the JPEG drivers, the sound decoder, and this, and that. And from multiple vendors, sometimes my purchase department got crazy about it. Here, your problem is solved. Your solution here is that you buy those devices that are available on Mouser today. You can buy the ones with the S. As soon as you get it, you go to the web page, you download the software, and you can start working right away. And we offer this across the whole family of devices, as you can see on the left side.
Cool. Okay. So, can you walk me through some applications as well?
Sure. Basic application that everyone thinks when we talk about the display capability is the 2.5D automotive instrument cluster, which you have this perception that you have the carousel of screens and music and speeds and the vehicle. This is all created in the bare metal microcontroller with no operational system. But also, we have a solution with a crossware that is the connected two-wheeler instrument cluster. So if you're an Infineon customer and you went to the latest trade shows, it's basically a cluster for a two-wheeler, motorcycle, or a patinette that you can mirror the screen from your mobile phone. So what you're seeing on the right side is the mirroring of our mobile phone. So you can drive your motorcycle with your mobile phone in your pocket, and you can still see the maps or any kind of navigation systems that you have on your instrument cluster. All of this running on a bare metal microcontroller with no operational system. So we do have this solution running with Qt and Crossware. If you guys have any interest on that, don't hesitate to contact us. And last but not least, one thing that motivates us a lot was after all the pandemic, the number of medical applications has skyrocketed, and we are trying to find a way to make it more popular, that you can sell across the globe to multiple people that sometimes don't have access to medical applications. So we create this demo called LifeTrack. It's a demo that will be presenting later this year on one of our trade shows. And this demo shows a TRAVEO cluster reproducing a medical demo, as you can see on the right. And then we were able to run this on an evaluation board. And these screens can go up to a 33-inch screen, which you can do real-time patient monitoring using a TRAVEO cluster with no operational system in the background.
All right. So, what about development kits? Marcelo, does Infineon offer a kit for each of these TRAVEO clusters?
Yeah, we do offer two kinds of kits here. We have the full kit, I'll call. It's the big one with all connectors and everything that you want to explore about TRAVEO body entry, body high, and TRAVEO cluster. But I want to emphasize here the light kits, the low-cost kits. First, they are the ones that we're promoting with Mouser till September this year. You will have a discount that you can buy it from them. And secondly, because they are usually the cheapest way that you can have access to our superset devices. So we do offer a solution on the TRAVEO body low and body high light kits, but also on the TRAVEO cluster devices, the 4 meg and the 6 meg.
Okay, so Infineon also offers TRAVEO T2G Cluster light kits as well, right?
Yeah, and those kits are available to be purchased on the Mouser website. So we do offer the TRAVEO 4M, the 4 megabyte device. As you can see, they are doing a connectivity, microbus connectivity, also our Infineon Sense2Go. And what is interesting to mention here, Amelia, is people say like, Marcelo, we're talking about a cluster, a display. Where is the display here on this kit? So in order to the customer have a better experience with the display, what we did, if you see on the bottom part of the kit, there is a USB connector there. So what you can do, you can connect your monitor, your USB monitor to this board, and then you can see and use your display capabilities of TRAVEO cluster in a monitor instead of this small display, which don't reflect your reality. Oh, Marcelo, but I want later to check on the display. Okay, we left the FPD link connector there. You can buy the display that you want. You can connect there. You can test as well. So you have both capabilities that you can extract the most out of the TRAVEO cluster devices. Also, we offer the 6M Lite, which is a larger device. But as you can see, we offer the same capabilities on the TRAVEO Cluster Lite 4 megabytes with some increased features like the Ethernet capability, but you still have the display, USB outputs, and all the other features from the 4 megabytes. So besides the Infineon Light kits and the Qt solution that we discussed here today, we do have other partners on HMI solutions that Infineon also offer that you can see here on the screen. plus other features that the micro can use, like AutoSAR, MCall support, encryption, all the kinds of peripheral software and debugging. Infineon is extending on daily basis our ecosystem with key partners in the market. So you can extract the most of our silicon using the tools that you already know that are very well known in the market.
Fantastic. Now, Marcelo, if my audience wants more information about the solutions we covered today, what does Infineon have for them?
Yeah, one of the key differentiations from our previous discussion related to today is the digital documentation on the web. So instead of you go to multiple systems inside Infineon in order to get documentation for the hardware, oh, I need the documentation for the kit, I need software examples. Now we put all together since last year in a digital documentation format. The link you have here in the description, and then you can have access to all the documents from Infineon microcontrollers in one-stop shop. So we have the example here for AURIX, but as you can see, we do have for TRAVEO, for PSOC, Multics, XMC, and so on. So that's now one way that people can go and find all the information from Infineon devices in just one place.
So, Infineon also offers support for free RTOS, Modus Toolbox, and Eclipse IDE, right?
Yeah. The Modus Toolbox tooling is the flagship from Infineon, so is our free of charge GCC. So you have many examples available on this tool. Even the Qt solution also had a plugin to the Modus Toolbox. But if the customers say, I don't want to use the professional tool and more on the open source tooling, then you can go to the Modus Toolbox, which is Eclipse IDE, and have support to free RTOS and multiple examples, including the GFX 2.5 graphics support as well.
So, the TRAVEO T2G Light Kit you mentioned earlier, is that also supported by Modus Toolbox?
Yeah, all kits today from Infineon are supported by Modus Toolbox, including the TRAVEO Cluster 4 megabyte device and the 6 megabyte device. What we want to highlight here is when you use a solution like Qt, all things are integrated, so it's pretty easy going. When you go to a solution more like Modus Toolbox or GCC compiler, you have to do the integration by yourself, which will be adding a small level of complexity, but you can do it. We have customers that say, oh, Marcelo, I don't want to be connected to any kind of vendor. I develop everything by my own. I want to have Eclipse GCC supported hardware and software. What do you have? We have Modus Toolbox for this type of customers.
Fantastic. Now, what other supporting material does Infineon offer?
One of the things that Infineon is pushing more and more is the quality of the content for our customers, not quantity, but the quality of the content. So if you go to our website or you have access to Infineon MyICP with his Infineon collaboration platform, you see the new selection guide that is much easier for you to pick up one of our micros. You have product application selection table for inverters, battery management systems, radar, gateways, and all kinds of applications. You have for our sales team and our FAEs the fighting guides internally to compare the devices with our competitors, benchmarks. We have the pocket guide fully updated. If you have not checked it, please check it out in our web page. We launched it in Embedded World and the feedback was awesome. And we have the map square, which is how we tackle some of the applications or key applications is available in my Infineon. And we have the customer connector, which supports our sales team and technical team in understand what the customer needs and connect this to the best solution available in our portfolio today. We do have this exactly kind of support for the TRAVEO T2G and TRAVEO Cluster. So don't hesitate to contact us or send us an email on traveo@infineon.com to request access to my ICP. And then you have full access to all documentation and everything that we have discussed today.
Fantastic. Now, Marcelo, if my audience wants even more information, what would you suggest?
I'll say, please make sure to drop me an email or to open technical tickets during my cases. This is our tool that you can open technical and marketing questions if you want. And if you don't want to go to a forum, you want more an experience of some person addressing your cases, you can use the My Case tickets here. Also, follow me on LinkedIn. I put contents about microcontrollers and the new releases almost every week about our partners, new devices, trade shows, how to use our tooling and our systems, as well the contents of our webinars and podcasts that we're recording with Infineon and Mouser.
Fantastic. Well, Marcelo, I think that's all I have time for today. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Amelia. It's always a pleasure. Looking forward to the next one. Thank you.
And before we go, you didn't forget to click that link, did you? There you can find even more information about this topic from Infineon. For Chalk Talks, I'm Amelia Dalton from eejournal.com. For more Chalk Talks, head on over to the Chalk Talks section of EE Journal. You can't miss it, it's right across the top. Or head on over to YouTube, youtube.com/EE Journal.